Welcome to Tech Cloud Solutions. This mock test dives into Azure monitoring, alerts, and file share access. We're covering SMB ports, deployment slot swap rollbacks, alert rule configurations, and update domains. 10 questions explained in detail. Question 41. You have created a storage account named TechCert Labs Store. You have created a file share named Demo using the file service. You need to ensure that users can connect to the file share from their home computers. Which of the following ports should be open to ensure the connectivity? Options: A80, B 443, C 445, D 3389. This question is about which TCP port is required to access Azure Files over SMB from client machines. You need to recall the well-known SMB port used for file shares. Correct answer: C. 445. Azure Files uses SMB over TCP port 445 for file share access from Windows, Linux, and macOS clients. For home users to connect to techcertlabstore.file.core.windows.net demo, outbound port 445 must be allowed on their network. Why the other options are wrong. Option A, 80. Port 80 is used for HTTP, not SMB file share access. Option B, 443. Port 443 is HTTPS, useful for REST APIs, but not SMB file shares. Option D, 3389. Port 3389 is for Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, not for accessing file shares. Quick memory tip: SMB equals TCP 445. Remember 445 for file shares. Question 42. You have an Azure subscription named DevTest Sub that is used by several departments at your company. DevTest Sub contains the resources in the following table. Another administrator deploys a virtual machine named VM01 and an Azure storage account named Storage02 by using a single Azure Resource Manager template. You need to view the template used for the deployment. From which blade can you view the template that was used for the deployment? Options: A. VM01, B. RG1, C. Storage02, D. Container1. This question is about where you find deployment history and templates for resources created by an ARM template. You need to know which blade exposes the deployments list. Correct answer: B. RG1. ARM template deployments are recorded at the resource group level, so you go to RG1 Deployments, select Deployment, Template to view the JSON used. From the resource group blade, you can see all deployments that targeted that group, including the one that created VM01 and Storage02. Why the other options are wrong. Option A, VM01. The VM blade shows settings for that VM, but does not expose the full original template for the combined deployment. Option C, Storage-02. Same as the VM. The storage account blade does not show the multi-resource template. Option D, Container1. A container object inside storage does not hold deployment history or templates. Quick memory tip: to find the ARM template used, go to Resource Group, Deployments, Template. Question 43. A company has created a storage account in their Azure subscription. The name of the storage account is TechCert Labs Store. They have also created a file share named Demo. They need to access the files in the file share via UNC path. You need to fill in the following blocks to ensure the right UNC path is provided. Which of the following needs to go into slot 1? Options: A. Blob, B. blob.core.windows.net, C. portal.azure.com, D. File, E. file.core.windows.net, F. TechCert Lab Store. This question is building the UNC path for an Azure file share step-by-step. Slot 1 represents the storage account name part of the path. Correct answer: F. TechCert Lab Store. The UNC path format for Azure Files is storage account name, file.core.windows.net file share name. So slot 1 must be the storage account name, which is TechCert Lab Store. Why the other options are wrong. Option A, Blob, refers to a service type, not the account name. Option B, blob.core.windows.net, domain for blob storage, not a storage account name. Option C, portal.azure.com, Azure portal URL, unrelated to file share UNC. Option D, File, just the word file, not the account name. Option E, file.core.windows.net, service domain, not the account name. Quick memory tip: UNC pattern, account. File.core.windows.net share, slot 1 is always the account name. Question 44. You have an Azure web app named App01. App01 has the deployment slots shown in the following table. In Web App 01-test, you test several changes to App01. You back up App01. You swap Web App 01 test for Web App 01 prod and discover that App01 is experiencing performance issues. You need to revert to the previous version of App01 as quickly as possible. What should you do? Options: A. Redeploy App01. B. Swap the slots. C. Clone App01. D. Restore the backup of App01. This question is about using deployment slots to quickly roll back a bad deployment. You need the fastest way to return to the pre-swap version. Correct answer: B. Swap the slots. When you swap deployment slots, Azure swaps the virtual IPs and content of the source and target slots. To revert, you simply swap back so the previous production code returns to the production slot almost instantly. Why the other options are wrong? Option A. Redeploying might be slower and requires access to the original package or pipeline. Option C. Cloning creates a new app but does not directly restore the previous version in the production slot. Option D. Restoring from backup works, but is slower than a simple slot swap and usually used when slot rollback is not available. Quick memory tip: bad swap? Swap back is the quickest rollback for web apps. Question 45. A company has created a storage account in their Azure subscription. The name of the storage account is TechCert Lab Store. They have also created a file share named Demo. They need to access the files in the file share via a UNC path. You need to fill in the following blocks to ensure the right UNC path is provided. Which of the following needs to go into slot 2? Options: A. Blob. B. blob.core.windows.net. C. portal.azure.com. D. File. E. file.core.windows.net. F. TechCert Lab Store. This continues building the UNC path for an Azure file share. Slot 2 represents the service endpoint part of the path. Correct answer: E. file.core.windows.net path format is storage account name. File.corewindows.net file share name. So slot 2 must be the file service domain, which is file.core.windows.net. Why the other options are wrong? Option A, blob, refers to blob service, not file service. Option B, blobcore.windows.net, domain for blob storage, not Azure Files. Option C, portal.azure.com, Azure Portal, unrelated to SMB file path. Option D, file, just the word file, not the full service domain. Option F, TechCert Lab Store, storage account name, which belongs in slot 1. Quick memory tip: Azure Files endpoint always ends with file.core.windows.net. Question 46. You have an Azure storage account named storage-01. You plan to use AzCopy to copy data to storage-01. Which of the following are valid storage services in storage-01 that you can copy data to? Options: A. Blob, file, table, and queue. B. Blob and file only. C. File and table only. D. File only. E. Blob, table, and queue only. This question is about which Azure storage services are supported targets for AzCopy. You need to know where AzCopy can copy data to and from. Correct answer: B. Blob and file only. AzCopy is a command line utility designed to copy data to and from Azure Blob Storage and Azure File Storage. It does not support direct copy operations to table or queue storage. Why the other options are wrong? Option A includes table and queue, which AzCopy does not support. Option C includes table, again not supported. Option D, only file. AzCopy also supports blob, so this is incomplete. Option E, table and queue are invalid targets for AzCopy. Quick memory tip: AzCopy loves blob files, but not tables or queues. Question 47. You have an Azure subscription that contains an Azure storage account named Storage1 and the users shown in the following table. You plan to monitor Storage1 and to configure email notifications for several different signals and recipient combinations. You need to identify the minimum number of alert rules and action groups required for the planned monitoring. How many alert rules and action groups should you identify? Options: Alert Rules 1, Alert Rules 2, Alert Rules 3, Alert Rules 4, Action Groups 1, Action Groups 3. This question is about designing Azure Monitor alerts with different signals and recipient groups. You must minimize the number of alert rules and action groups given 4 scenarios and 3 recipient groupings. Correct answer. Alert rules 4, action groups 3. There are 4 different signals or conditions, e.g., ingress, egress, delete storage account, restore blob ranges. So you need 4 alert rules, 1 per condition. There are 3 distinct user combinations for notifications, so you define 3 action groups, then attach them appropriately to the 4 rules. Why the other options are wrong? Fewer than 4 alert rules would force you to combine different signals under one condition, which is not how the exam scenario is structured. Fewer than 3 action groups would prevent you from matching each unique recipient combination without extra noise or missing recipients. Quick memory tip: different condition, different alert rule, different recipient set, different action group. Question 48. Note, this question is part of a series with the same scenario. You have an Azure virtual machine named VM1 that runs Windows Server 2016. You need to create an alert in Azure when more than 2 error events are logged to the system event log on VM1 within an hour. Solution: you create an Azure storage account and configure shared access signatures, SAS. You install the Microsoft Monitoring Agent on VM1. You create an alert in Azure Monitor and specify the storage account as the source. Does this meet the goal? Options: A, yes, B, no. This question is testing if you know how to correctly stream VM event logs into a source that Azure Monitor can query for log-based alerts. You must check whether using a storage account as the source is valid for this scenario. Correct answer, B, no. For event log-based alerts, you should send logs to a log analytics workspace, then create a log alert in Azure Monitor using KQL queries. A plain storage account with SAS is not a supported query source for log-based alerts about system events. Why the other option is wrong? Option A suggests that Azure Monitor can use a storage account directly as a queryable source for system event logs, which it cannot. It needs a log analytics workspace. Quick memory tip: VM event log alerts, VM agent, log analytics workspace, Azure Monitor alert, not direct to a storage account. Question 49. You have deployed in Azure an application App1 on 2 Azure virtual machines named VM1 and VM2. You plan to implement an Azure availability set for App1. The solution must ensure that App1 is available during planned maintenance of the servers hosting VM1 and VM2. What should you include in the availability set? Options: A, 1 update domain, B, 2 fault domains, C, 1 fault domain, D, 2 update domains. This question is about how update domains and fault domains in an availability set protect against different types of downtime. The key phrase is planned maintenance by Microsoft. Correct answer, D, 2 update domains. Planned maintenance events are applied per update domain, so with 2 update domains, Azure can reboot 1 domain at a time while the other remains running. By placing VM1 and VM2 in different update domains, App1 stays available during planned maintenance on 1 host group. Why the other options are wrong? Option A, 1 update domain means both VMs could be restarted together during maintenance. Option B, 2 fault domains protect against hardware or rack failures, but the question focuses specifically on planned maintenance behavior. Option C, 1 fault domain gives no hardware redundancy and does not address planned maintenance. Quick memory tip: planned maintenance, update domains, unplanned hardware failures, fault domains. Question 50. Note, this question is part of a series with the same scenario. You have an Azure virtual machine named VM1 that runs Windows Server 2016. You need to create an alert in Azure when more than 2 error events are logged to the system event log on VM1 within an hour. Solution: you create an event subscription on VM1. You create an alert in Azure Monitor and specify VM1 as the source. Does this meet the goal? Options: A, yes, B, no. This question is again about the correct architecture for event log-based alerts on a VM. You must decide whether using an event subscription on the VM is appropriate for Azure Monitor log alerts. Correct answer? B. No. Azure Monitor log alerts for event logs require that events be sent to a log analytics workspace via the Microsoft Monitoring Agent or Azure Monitor Agent. An event subscription used with services like Event Grid does not integrate directly with Azure Monitor's log query model for system event counts. Why the other option is wrong. Option A treats an event subscription as if it were enough for Azure Monitor to query system events, which is not the case. You still need a log analytics workspace. Quick memory tip. VM event alerts pattern stays the same. Agent, log analytics, Azure Monitor alert. Event subscriptions are for Event Grid, not log alerts.